back is just what led me to make Mouse was seeing how difficult it was for people to understand what I was up to in the more non-narrative work. And if I was going to deal with a narrative, considering how difficult it was for me to draw and make the things I want to make, was to find a narrative worth telling. And in 1978, Mouse was that. Again, in snippets, to me, without my understanding. And my father just didn't want to talk about it. It was just like, oh, people don't want to hear such stories. When I was an adult and went back to talk to him after a fairly long estrangement and asked him about it, he was very forthcoming. He just didn't want to tell me when I was a kid. So at that point, after not talking to him for quite a while, but working on a 3-page underground comic story, Mouse, I was in the middle of it, showed him what I was working on, and then that started a conversation. There wasn't a genre of Holocaust literature in the early 70s, certainly in 72, 70. Even the word Holocaust wasn't in that common currency. The word that had been used was genocide. It was invented for that purpose. There just wasn't a context to work from, and that's what got me interested, was that there was no context, and yet it was the central fact in my family home. One thing they didn't have much of in Auschwitz, among everything else, was cameras. So there was no way to visually witness what was happening. And in fact, by the end of the war, a lot of it was being destroyed as evidence, you know, like by the retreating Germans. So the only real visual witness tended to be people drawing, usually at great personal risk, where sometimes the drawings would survive and they wouldn't, or they'd be buried and found later. And those provided a way to visualize the oxymoron of life inside a death camp.